We have to talk about better mind-muscle connection. When you slow down, you have to actually fucking think about what you're doing. Here's something most people don't know. Your muscles can handle more weight during the eccentric phase than the concentric phase. Focus on the movement quality. This is not about going as heavy as fucking possible. This is like, how can I see my weak spots? How can I get way fucking stronger? And how can this movement feel better? Hey girl, hey. Hey, what's up? Hey, what is up? I'm so stoked to be here. I'm so glad you're here. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you can't see that I'm flexing. But before we begin, as always, can you just take a quick second and press your little podcast button and make sure that you're subscribed and that you are following this, because then you won't miss any episodes. And all my episodes are good, so you definitely don't want to miss any episodes. Even though I technically wear the same outfit every episode, you can also watch me on YouTube, but please make sure that you are liking, subscribing, following, sharing with your mom, dad, sister, brother, nephew, best friend, stranger, and neighbor in your life. Leave me a 5-star review too, because I always like those. If you leave anything lower than a 5-star, I'm not going to read it, but just letting you know, reviews are really helpful, and that's what makes the show grow. And that's what makes me keep showing up for you. If I show up and you show up, then why can't we show up with reviews? Today, we are diving into something that honestly changed the way I lift, and I think it's going to change yours too. We are talking all about tempo training. Yeah, I know you're probably thinking, that's so funny. Tara, I barely have time to get to the gym. Why would I want to slow down my reps? I get it. Here's the thing. Tempo training isn't about making your workouts longer or more complicated. It's actually about making every single rep you do count more. So today, I am breaking down what tempo training actually is, why it works, when to use it, and how to start implementing it without overthinking it. Because I know you, I can see you, you're an overthinker. That's what we do here, though. We keep it simple, sassy, effective, and grounded in what actually builds strength. Because as you know, you're on the Broads podcast. It's all about women taking up space, feeling stronger in and out of the gym with my really awesome program called the Broads app. So what, first of all, is tempo training? Let's start with the basics. What the fuck is it? Simply put, tempo training is just controlling the speed of your reps during different phases of a lift. Instead of just banging out reps like jackhammering, that never feels good. You know that doesn't feel good, so stop doing it. You're actually intentionally slowing down certain parts of the movement. Now, every lift has 4 specific phases. The eccentric phase, this is the lowering portion, like when you're lowering the bar to your chest during a bench press or lowering yourself down into a squat. Number 2, the bottom pause. This is the brief moment at the bottom of a movement. Concentric phase, number 3, this is the lifting portion, pressing the bar back up or standing up from a squat. And then the top pause. This is the brief moment at the top before starting the next rep. So 4 different phases, 4 numbers. We use a 4-number code. So for example, 3110. That's our tempo number, okay? First number, 3. This is the eccentric. So how many seconds you spend lowering the weight. Number 1 is our second number. That's the bottom pause. How long you hold at the bottom. Next number is 1. That's our third number. That's the concentric. How many seconds lifting the weight. And number 4, the fourth number is 0, which is our top pause, which is how long you hold at the top before the next rep. So the tempo 3110 is 3 seconds lowering, 1 second pause, 1 second lift, and no pause at the top. Here is what's important to understand. You are already training with tempo. You just might not be doing it intentionally, but every rep you do has speed to it. Now, most people default to something like 1010, fast down, no pause, fast up, no pause. That's fine for building strength. But when you start controlling your tempo intentionally, that's when things really get interesting. That's also what she said. Did she say that? I would say it. So, why does slowing down make you stronger? Let's break it down. We have to start with TUT. TUT TUT is time under tension. Your muscles grow and get stronger based on how long they are under tension. So when you slow down your reps, you increase the total time that your muscles are working. A controlled 3-second eccentric gives you way more stimulus than a 1-second drop. I always like to add in eccentrics for pull-ups because we are working that stimulus longer and we're getting stronger. So let's just say you're doing 10 reps of a squat, each takes 5 seconds instead of 2 seconds. You've gone from 20 seconds of work to 50 seconds of work. That's more than double time that your muscles are actually working. Next, we have to talk about better mind-muscle connection. So we've got time under tension, mind-muscle connection. When you slow down, you have to actually fucking think about what you're doing. You can't just muscle through it, go through the movements. Stop this podcast right now and think about the last workout you did. Did you just go through the fucking motions? We are not doing that shit anymore. That's the difference between exercising and training. So you have to feel the muscle working through every inch of the movement when you add some tempo. This builds that mind-muscle connection that we are talking about. The ability to actually recruit and activate the right muscles during a lift is powerful beyond belief. Next, we have to think about the eccentric part of the movement because they bring huge gains. So this was what I was talking about with the pull-ups. Here's something most people don't know. Your muscles can handle more weight during the eccentric phase than the concentric phase. Mind blown. You are actually stronger when lowering than lifting. So eccentric training creates more muscle damage. Rawr. Not in a bad way, the good kind. This leads to more muscle growth. It also builds tendon and connective tissue strength, which helps prevent injury and makes you more resilient long-term. You are badass woman. This tempo training also forces perfect form. You can't cheat tempo work. You literally can't. When you slow down a rep, every little compensation pattern shows up. So if your form is off, you feel it immediately. This means that tempo training is actually one of the best ways to clean up to your technique instead of just busting on more and more weight. We are building strength in the right positions and throughout the entire movement. Speaking of building strength, we are building strength at our most weak points. So most people have like a sticking point in their lifts. That is the specific range of motion where they struggle. I see this all the time with clients when they squat. Tempo training forces you to work through those weak spots slowly and deliberately. This builds strength exactly where you need it most. Oh, so good. This whole podcast is making me realize that I actually need it more in my training too. So tempo training isn't something you need to do in every single lift, and I actually would not recommend it. This is not for every single workout either. That would be exhausting, overkill, and actually would probably get really boring really fast. So here's where tempo training makes the most sense. First and foremost, during accessory work. This is my favorite place to use tempo because your main lifts like squats, deads, bench, that can stay at a normal tempo. You could also use it for explosive movements. Maybe it's like a 3-2-0-1 where you go 3 seconds down in your squat, pause for 2 seconds, and then your 0 is your explosive 1 second before the next movement. Before the next rep. But accessory movements, that is typically where the tempo really shines. So for example, your main movement, let's say, is your back squat at your normal or explosive tempo that we just talked about. And maybe your accessory is your Bulgarian split squats. Yeah, with a 3-1-1-0 tempo. Can you imagine how great and juicy that booty will feel with a 3-second down, 1 second hold, 1 second up? So good. The other place you can really use tempo training is during a deload week. So remember, deload is where we're giving that whole week a body to recover, and you should be taking them every 4 to 6 weeks. But tempo training is really perfect for this because you're dropping the weight down already. But if we add some tempo to maintain stimulus without totally beating up our nervous system, we can keep those joints safe, sturdy, stable, and strong. Tempo training is also really great when learning a new movement pattern. So when we slow it down, that's how we do it right. If you're doing a new exercise, using a slower tempo helps you understand the movement pattern, right? Build that proper motor control and that mind-muscle connection before you start adding heavier weight. Another place it's so key is when you're stuck at a certain weight. So hitting a plateau, add tempo. If you've been trying to increase your squat for months and it's not budging, strip weight off, add a 4-2-0-1 or a 1-0 tempo. Build strength in that range of motion. And then when you come back to a normal tempo, you will break through and it'll feel like, holy shit, I just got so strong so fast. But that was because we're adding this tempo. It's also really great for muscle growth, hypertrophy, especially if that's your goal. Tempo work is incredible because that time under tension is exactly what stimulates muscle growth. At 3-1-1-1 tempo on exercise like an RDL, a row, a chest press, that's going to light you up. So we've talked about a lot of different things and why it's so important and how it can be so great, but like how are we actually implementing tempo training into your training? So now you know what it is and why it works. Let's just talk about maybe how to use it without overcomplicating or overthinking your life. First and foremost, we can start with accessories. So don't go changing your entire program overnight. Start by maybe adding a tempo to like 1 to 2 exercises or accessory movements per workout. So those accessory movements are what build your compound lifts. And this is where you want to build more control or strength and experiment with like kind of some different tempos. You can also try this out by dropping the weight. And this is really crucial because when you add tempo, you need to drop the weight. And sometimes like pretty significantly. A weight that feels easy at a normal tempo will humble you really fucking quick with a 4-second eccentric. So start lighter than you need to because remember, our typical tempo is like 1-0-1-0. If we're adding like 3 or 4 seconds to it, it's going to be really hard to lift anywhere near that same amount of weight. So I'm just going to give you a couple examples of ones that you can try like right away. So 3-0-1-0. This is a slow eccentric and a normal concentric. This is really great for building strength and muscle. And I would say probably a go-to of mine, especially when you're just kind of starting out with tempo. 4-2-1-0, that's very slow eccentric with a pause. This is excellent for weak points and learning control. I do love an explosive movement. And so sometimes I'll use the 0 as explosive or I'll use the X. So 2-0-X-0. And this is controlled eccentric, explosive concentric. This is really great for building power while maintaining control. Typically you'll see an X and that just means explode as fast as possible. There's also 3-1-3-1. This is slowing both ways down with like a slight pause. And this is brutal for time under tension and hypertrophy. And we want to be using very lightweight for this. Now, it's really important to track this in your workout log. Note the tempo, just like you would for the reps and for the weight. For example, RDLs, 95 pounds, 8 reps at 3-1-1-0 with a rest of 3 minutes. This is how you can track your tempo and see that your work is progressing over time. And if you don't actually have that tempo in there, you might be like, wait, why did I lift so much lighter last week? Because you lifted at a totally different tempo and the exercise took a lot longer. So data tracking, very important. Also, always in the Broads app, by the way. The other thing I want you to know right now is that you're thinking about this, do not overdo it. You don't have to add tempo on everything, but if you add it to maybe like 1 to 3 exercises per workout, it's plenty. Your main compound lift can stay the same at normal tempo for most of the time. Tempo work is a tool. It's not a requirement for every single movement or even your training as a whole. This is just a really great resource for you. So let me just give you some real life examples and how to program it. And how I would program it in my own training with clients or with even Broads Club. So example workout, number 1, lower body. Let's go back squat, 4x6, normal tempo. We're building strength here. Maybe we've got a 3-second rest or 3-minute rest period here. Bulgarian split squats, 3 times 8 per leg, 3-1-1-0. This is an accessory with tempo for control and hypertrophy. RDLs, 3x10 at 3-0-1-0, slow eccentric to really feel the hamstrings or even the glutes if you really bend your knees and send your hips back. Then we've got a leg press, 3x12 at normal tempo. Hamstring curls, 3x12 at 2-0-2-0, slower both ways for time under tension. So see, just 2 movements that we added with tempo here, and that is totally enough. Also, that is a pretty brutal leg workout. Upper body, let's do an example workout here. First exercise, bench press, 4x5, normal tempo. This is our strength focus. We've got our rest period about 30 minutes. Next one, incline dumbbell bench press, 3x10. Let's go 3-0-1-1 tempo for more chest activation on the way down. Cable rows, 3x12 at 2-1-1-0. We're pausing on the squeeze. Lat pull down, 3x10, normal tempo. Tricep extensions, 3x12 at 3-0-1-0 for a slow eccentric and more stimulus. Again, selective tempo use. We're just getting enough to get the benefits of it without taking over your entire program. As always, we have to talk about the common mistakes to avoid when we talk about anything new, right? Before we wrap up, let me just tell you some things I've seen and definitely some I've done myself. First and foremost is using too much weight. Whew, I see this all the time. I'm like, I can squat 320 pounds. Like, what? I'm not going to be anywhere close to that. Anywhere close to that if I'm adding in tempo. Tempo is humbling. Drop the weight by at least 20 to 30% or more and focus on the movement quality. This is not about going as heavy as fucking possible. This is like, how can I see my weak spots? How can I get way fucking stronger? Sorry for the curse words. And how can this movement feel better? Slow it down. I can't tell you how many videos I see from clients that I'm like, how did that feel? Or like, what did you feel in that movement? And they have no idea what they even felt because they were going so fast. Slow it down, my dude, my ladies, my friends. Ooh, next mistake, not actually counting. Ooh, I see this a lot. If you're supposed to be doing a 3-second eccentric and you're just lowering it slowly, you're probably doing like a 1.5 eccentric. This is a call out to my husband. I see this all the time. He's like, that was a 3-2-1-0. And I'm like, no, that was like a 1-1-1-1. This is like a 1-1,000, 2-1,000, 3-1,000. Like that matters because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is not the same. Mistake, using tempo on everything. You don't need tempo on every movement. It's a tool. Use it strategically, not constantly. Forgetting to breathe. Why does this happen a lot? When we're focused on counting and controlling the movement, it's kind of easy to hold our breath. So please don't do that. I do want you to continue to breathe through it. Usually you want to inhale on the eccentric and exhale on the concentrics, but just make sure that you are breathing. Like that's one that I see people overthink more than anything else. Next one is just never progressing. Just like with normal training, you need to progressive overload. So once you can hit your tempo and rep target cleanly, you can either A, add weight, lucky you, B, add reps, also lucky you, 3, make the tempo harder. Whoop, like going from a 3-0-1-0 to a 4-1-1-0. That's tough. Don't just do the same tempo work forever and expect to see continued progress. We do a ton of tempo work in bras. I love it. Not a ton, of course. Remember, 1 to 2 exercises per workout. But let's bring this all home. Tempo training isn't just some fancy advanced technique that only elite lifters need to worry about. It's simple. It's practical. It can help you build more strength, more muscle, better control, cleaner form. Like what? This is the best. This is also without adding extra days to the gym or time. And the beauty of tempo work is that it just meets you where you are, whether you are brand new to lifting or you've been training for years and years and years. Slowing down your reps will challenge you in new ways and create new progress. I can't tell you how many people that will come to me and be like, this workout was so easy. And then I'm like, I watch the videos back and I'm like, that's because you're just fucking busting through all the movements. So here is my training for you, my challenge for you this week. Pick 1 or 2 exercises and add a 3-0-1-0 tempo. Drop the weight, count out the seconds, and actually feel your muscles working through the full range of motion. See how it feels. Like, see what you notice. You can even come back to me and leave a really awesome 5-star review and tell me how it felt in your training. I promise you that once you start paying attention to how you are moving, not just what weight you're moving, everything will change. You will feel stronger, more connected to your lifts, and more confident in the gym. Like that. So if this episode gave you clarity or just a few new ideas to try your next workout, please just follow our show. Follow the Broads Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, leave a rating and review, share it with a friend, share it with all the beautiful women in your life ready to level up their training, take up space in and out of the gym, feel more confident, and build big ballin' muscles. Thanks for listening. I'll see you on the next one. Love you so much.